You know, it's a moment in history of the NHL playoffs that few Americans ever talk about. But as Canadians, oh, we talked about it. Many years before he was head coach of the Quebec Nordiques, he was coaching in New Brunswick for the very, what do you call, beloved Moncton Alpines. Never lost his cool like this. This was uh, Ron Hextall had given up a goal against Montreal in deciding Game 6 of their first round, what do you call, conference series. And he put in Stefan Fizet, but you notice Page lost his mind. He started screaming at the players at the bench, especially Matt Sundin. I think Martin Ruzinski. He lost his fucking mind. This is like Santa Claus yelling at his elves, saying the toys were delivered, but they were too late. I thought his head was going to explode. I was covering that for the Lousy News in my column that year, and I said to myself, either Montreal's going to win the cup or Pierre Page is going to take a fucking stroke. This is how the game ended, and Montreal won the game, won the cup, and Page didn't take a stroke, but he was quickly out of Quebec. But it wasn't really indicative of how good of a coach he was. But today we're going to be talking about again that alumni in the Moncton Alpines. Andrew Leopard never made the request, but he's part of that Cape Breton Oilers, Moncton Golden Flames, the Brunswick Hawks. He likes all those AHL teams from Cape Breton and New Brunswick. Now, Page, a former ice hockey player, coach, and executive. He started coaching at the age of 24 with the prestigious Dalhousie University as an AC. He became the head coach the following year, a position he held for 7 years, very strong in the CIS. He received his first job in the National Hockey League as an AC with the Flames under head coach Al McNeil. In 81, his first season in the NHL, the Flames first in Calgary following a relocation from Atlanta in the summer of 1980. The club finished the season with a 39-27-14 record, earning 92 points and were a strong third place in the Patrick Division. In the postseason, the Flames swept the Hawks to win their first ever playoff series in team history. Calgary then defeated the Flyers in 7 games. However, they lost to the Stars in 6 games in the division semifinals. Now, the Flames struggled in the 82 season as their record fell to 29-34-17, earning 75 points. The club did finish in third place in the Smythe Division, qualifying for the postseason. In the first round, Calgary was swept by the Vancouver Canucks. Following the season, Page was named as head coach of the Flames' newly created CHL affiliate, the Colorado Flames. In 83, the Colorado Flames finished with the second best record in the 6-team league, with a record of 41-36-3, earning 85 points. In the postseason, they lost to the Birmingham South Stars in 6 games in the CHL semifinals. Now, Page remained with Colorado for the 84 campaign, as the club finished with the best record in the league, going 48-25-3, earning 99 points. In the postseason, Colorado was upset by the Indy Checkers in 6. Following the season, the CHL folded. Now, Page was named head coach of the former Moncton Oilers and the Moncton Golden Flames of the AHL for the 85 campaign. The Golden Flames struggled to a 32-48 record, earning 72 points and finishing in last place in the North Division, failing to qualify for the postseason. Again, he was replaced by Terry Crisp. Now, Page returned to the Flames as an AC in 86, working under legendary head coach Bob Johnson. They finished the regular season second in the Smythe, earning a record of 40-31-9 for 89 points. In the postseason, they swept the Jets in the division semifinals. In the division finals, the Flames upset the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions, the Edmonton Oilers, in a thrilling 7-game series. Calgary won another 7-game series in the Campbell Finals, defeating the Jacques Demers-led St. Louis Blues, earning a berth into the 86 Stanley Cup Finals against the Canadiens. The Flames lost the final round in 5 games, despite leading 1-0 and heavily into the second period of the second game. Now, Calgary had another excellent regular season in 87 as the club improved to 95 points, earning a record of 46-31-3. In the playoffs, the Flames were upset by the Jets in division semifinals, losing in 6. Now, the Flames took another step forward in 87-88 as the squad finished with the best record in the NHL, winning the President's Trophy with a record of 48-23-9 with 105 points. Calgary quickly defeated the LA Kings in the division semifinals in 5 games. However, the team lost to defending Stanley Cup champion Edmonton Oilers in 4 in the division finals to end their series. Following the campaign, Page left the Flames, who was named head coach of the Minnesota North Stars. Of course, Chris was the head boss in Calgary. Now, Page took over the Stars as head coach for 89, taking over the worst team in the NHL, as the North Stars had a record of 1948-3 in 88. On October 6, 88, he coached his first career game, losing the Blues 8-3. After a 0-4 start to the season, Page won his first career game against the Bruins 5-1 on October 15th. Under Page, the North Stars started an improvement of 18 points as the team finished 27-37-16 with 70 points in third place in the North Division. In the postseason, Minnesota lost to the Blues in 5 games in the division semifinals. Now, Minnesota saw more improvement during the 90 campaign as the club improved by 6 points, registering a record of 36-40-4 with 76 points. Despite the improvement, the North Stars dropped to 4th in the North. In the playoffs, Minnesota nearly pulled off the upset against the top-ranked Blackhawks in the division semifinals. However, the club lost in 7 games. Following the campaign, he resigned as head coach to become the general manager of the Nordiques. Now, here's where it gets freaky. And I think that cost him to lose his mind in 93. The Nordiques hired Page as GM of the club on May 5th, 1990. At the time, the Nordiques were the worst team in the NHL during the 90 season, as the record of 12-61-7 with 31 points. One of Page's first decisions was not to bring back head coach Michel Detigre-Bergeron. Page hired Dave Chambers, who would have been one of the ACs with the Stars, to be the Nordiques head coach. At the 1990 NHL entry draft, the Nordiques held the first overall selections, in which Page selected Owen Nolan from the Cornwall Royals of the OHL. And he had a good campaign with Quebec, but unfortunately, he was out of the city within a couple of years because he wasn't going to stay, just like Lindros. He did. I don't think he wanted to be in Quebec. Now, during the 91 season, Page traded Michel Paty, Lucien Deplois, and Aaron Broughton to the Maple Leafs in exchange for Scott Pearson and 2 second-round draft picks as the Nordiques continued their rebuild. They finished the season with an improvement of 15 points for the previous season. However, Quebec's record was 16-50-14, earning 56 points, which was still the worst of the league. Now, the Nordiques selected first overall at the 91 NHL entry draft as he picked Lindros from the Oshawa Generals of the OHL. The Nordiques and Lindros could not come to a contract agreement as Lindros opted to return to the Generals for the 92 season. Now, following a disappointing 3-14-1 start to the campaign, he fired Chambers and named himself as a replacement while retaining his GM duties. In his first game as a head coach of the Nordiques, he lost 7-3 to the Penguins. In his second game, the Nords defeated the Habs 5-2 for his first career win as head coach of the Nordiques. As the club continued to rebuild, he traded away Ron Tugden and Brad Zavisha to the Oilers for Martin Ruzinski, again in the doghouse, and he traded the great Brian Fogarty, still struggling at the time, to the Penguins for Scott Young at the trade deadline. Now, he finished the 92 season, 20-48-12, earning 52 points, as the Nordiques once again failed to qualify for the playoffs. Page's head coaching record was 17-34-11 in 62 games. Now, on June 2092, after not being able to sign Lindros, they traded him to the Flyers for a big package, including Steve Duchesne, Ron Hextall, Kerry Huffman, Mike Ricci, Chris Simon, the rights to Peter Forsberg, a first-round draft pick in both 93-94, and $15 million. Now, with many new players in the lineup, the Nordiques improved dramatically in the 93 campaign as he finished 47-27-10 with 104 points and saw an NHL record 52-point improvement over the previous season. The Nordiques finished in second place in the Adams and qualified for the postseason. In their first-round matchup against their provincial rivals, the Habs, they took a commanding 3-2 series lead, but the Habs stormed back and won the next 4 games, eliminating Quebec, which started their overtime string in the postseason. By the time Game 6 came along, ladies and gentlemen, there was no pressure on Montreal. There was all the pressure on Page, and he basically blew a gasket behind the bench. It's on YouTube. I have never seen a man so small try to threaten 220 to 230 pound players. Now, they did have high expectation for the 94 campaign, but injuries plagued Quebec throughout the season, and they dropped to 34-42-8 with 76 points and missed the playoffs. Some people said the Nords were deliberately losing to get rid of him, and of course, that's what happened. He was eventually fired at the end of the campaign. Now, when he returned to the Flames, he was hired as a head coach of the team in July of 95. In his first game of head coach of the squad, the Flames tied the Lightning 3-3 on October 7th. Following a disappointing 0-7-3 start to the season, he finally won his first game with Calgary on October 31st as the Flames defeated the Kings 2-1. Calgary continued to struggle throughout November as the team had a record of 3-15-5 through the first 23 games. Paget and the Flames, however, turned their season around as Calgary was able to finish in second place in the Pacific, 34, 37, 31, 11, earning 79 points and a berth in the postseason. In the postseason, the Flames were swept by the Blackhawks in 4 games. In the second season with Calgary in 97, Paget and the Flames struggled to a 32-41-9 record, earning 73 points in 5th place in the Pacific Division as Calgary failed to qualify for the playoffs. Following the campaign, he resigned as head coach of the Flames, so he was either resigning or quitting. This was a trend. Now, Paget was hired as head coach of the Mighty Ducks for the 98 campaign. In his first game as head coach, the Ducks lost to the Vancouver Canucks 3-2 in a neutral site game in Tokyo on October 3rd. The next night, Paget earned his first win as Anaheim defeated Vancouver 3-2 in their second game held in Japan. The Mighty Ducks struggled during the season, finishing 26-43 and 13 and 6 in the Pacific, failing to qualify for the postseason. Now, on June 16, 98, the Ducks fired Paget as head coach. Now, after being dismissed by the Mighty Ducks and out of hockey for 1 season, he continued his coaching career in Europe, where he was coach in Switzerland, HC Ambri Pioto, Germany, Isabara and Berlin, and in Berlin he led the club to its first 2 championships. Now, he was the sporting director and head coach of EC Red Bull Salzburg in the Erste Bank Hockey League in Austria, with Paget behind the bench. Red Bull won the title in 2008 and 2010. It finished second in 2009 in a close series against EC CAC. 2010 was the most successful year in the history of EC Red Bull Salzburg. The team won their international preseason tournament, Red Bull Salute, the AAHF Continental Cup, and the Austrian Championship. Paget spearheaded the IIDM, International Ice Hockey Development Model, in Salzburg with Red Bull, which aimed to develop world-class athletes with the help of training facilities provided at the Talgau Training Center. Now, Dalhousie University AC 72-73, 73-80, Dalhousie University CIAU head coach. Calgary Flames AC 80-82, Colorado Flames 82-84 head coach. Moncton Golden Flames 85 head coach. 85-88 AC with Calgary. 88-1990 head coach of Minnesota. 90-94 GM with Quebec. 91-94 head coach. Calgary Flames head coach 95-97. 97-98 Mighty Ducks head coach. 2001 AC Ambri Pioto head coach. 2002-2007 Elsbaden Berlin head coach. 2017-2013 EC Red Bull Salzburg head coach of the BBL, and 13-14 EHC Red Bull München head coach. Now, NHL coaching record with Minnesota, Quebec, Calgary, and Mighty Ducks. 253 wins, 301 losses, 81 ties, and 6 wins and 16 losses in the playoffs. Lost in division semifinals 3 times, and lost in the conference finals once. Now, Paget obviously is a good coach, but he's never hit the level that a lot of people predicted for him, even though he had that Nordiques team in 93. But I think what happened, he lost his fucking mind in 93. And not to say he, what's the proper term? He's a good coach. He's not a great coach. And I can respect somebody that has the players that can do it. But when you don't have the players that can still do it, I'm looking at some of the other coaches. I really don't think he can do anything when he has a bad roster. He was more like a Jean Parent, a college coach that got into the NHL. He can motivate certain players, but his style of coaching, I wouldn't play for him, because you look at the Nordiques years, and that's why Matt Sundin pretty well left Quebec and went to Toronto, and and Martin Rudzinski and a few others. But it was all or nothing with him, and he went all in 93, and he found out Montreal had a better defensive style, and that's what killed him. And he wasn't, he couldn't decide the number 1 goalie. And when he did, he made the wrong mistake. He shouldn't have put Hextall, because Hextall was being beaten on a regular basis by all the key teams in the league. He was beaten by Edmonton, beaten by Montreal, and like I said, he could scare people, but he couldn't beat them. So, but Paget, I'm just saying, you never know in hockey what's going on, but to see him freak out, like I say, how can I say this? 2 minutes of what you do could last forever. This is 31 years ago, and we still talk about it. The 2 key ones that the Montreal Canadiens run to the playoffs was beating the Nordiques and see Paget lose his mind, and to win all the games in overtime. And I can tell you right now, Page has my respect, but I didn't respect him what he did that day. He should internalize it. Because did it kill the franchise in the long run? You tell me. Is there a Quebec Nordiques franchise? Of course not. Did the decisions he make impact the later Nordiques that made him leave Quebec? Maybe so. Who knows? Not for me to say, but the facts are there. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the story of the coach Pierre Page. If you like what we're doing here with our NHL Vintage podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. You're not going to get me to brag up Pierre Page because I didn't expect him to freak out against our Habs. All we did was beat him. He didn't have to publicly humiliate professional players just for his own jollies. I mean, it was unprofessional. So that's how it goes. I only call it why I see it. Thanks for listening. Bye.